Good afternoon, Lion families, and I'm coming to you Sunday, August 8th, just one day before we have our annual Meet the Teacher event. I'm very excited to welcome your family back on campus, and thank you in advance for following all of our safety and health protocols from the school district and our plan tomorrow as a school to try to balance the opportunity to allow your child to walk to class with you, meet the teacher, and meet all of his or her classmates, while at the same time doing it in 1 hour segments so that we can minimize the number of people that we have on campus at a time. Today, I'm here to present to you the second back to school presentation with updates since the last one and answers to some questions that you submitted after our first presentation. I want to start first by addressing student health protocols and just reminding your family about the importance of self-screening at home each morning before your child comes to school. If your child exhibits any of the symptoms below, especially having a fever of 100.4 degrees or higher without being on fever-reducing medication, then please make the choice to keep your child at home. This is an expectation from the school district, and it is something that we at school are going to be monitoring for each day in order to try to keep our campus as safe as possible. A new update that just came out for students is that now face coverings will be required again, just like they were at the end of last school year, indoors at all times and on school buses. Now, your family does have the option to opt out of this, but you do need to submit this opt-out in writing and sign it and submit it to your child's homeroom teacher. This is, according to Superintendent Burke, effective immediately. So that does include Meet the Teacher tomorrow. If you do want to exercise this option to have your child opt out from wearing a face covering indoors and on the bus, then please submit this to your child's homeroom teacher as early as tomorrow or at any time your family makes that choice. I also want to remind you to please submit and report any positive cases, whether it be your child or it be in your household. I can't thank your family enough for all of your communication over these last difficult 16 months or so. But one of the things that helps us to control the virus on campus and to keep everybody safe is to have that notification as quickly as possible. I promise that I will communicate with your family. I will reach out to the Department of Health if you aren't getting information that you need, but we do have to follow all the quarantine orders by the Department of Health, and I will be here to communicate with you. Another update that just came out was that now all visitors on school campuses will be required to wear face coverings while indoors. That will start tomorrow at Meet the Teacher. We will have signage to remind your family, and then we will have face coverings available if you need one. Also, Superintendent Burke made the decision to reinstate mandatory face coverings for all district employees while indoors and while on school district transportation. I want to remind your family about our clinic procedures. This is another safety protocol that we have on campus. If a child becomes symptomatic during the school day, based on those symptoms that were on the first slide, the teacher will send the child to go see Nurse Linda or one of the designees if Nurse Linda is absent that day. If your child meets the criteria to go home due to symptoms, then he or she will be placed and supervised by Nurse Linda in an area that is separate from students who may not be symptomatic but need to report to the clinic for other reasons. And then your family will be notified to come to school to pick up your child. Your family will have the option still this year to have a rapid COVID-19 test conducted by Nurse Linda, as long as you sign the consent form. And then children in grades K through 2 will need to have a legal parent or guardian present while Nurse Linda conducts that test. If your family chooses not to test, or you do choose to test, either way, children who are symptomatic need to remain at home. Your child can return to school once he or she is symptom-free. If your child does test positive, or you have a positive case in your house, all students will be expected to follow quarantine guidelines given by the Department of Health. The Department of Health will communicate to me, but they also will communicate to your family. So that's why that communication is extremely important for safety procedures. For absent students, this year is going to be different than last year. We do not have any type of virtual distance option. So if a child is absent for whatever reason, like traditionally before COVID-19, he or she will be given makeup work by the teachers. Your family can contact the teachers as early as possible, especially if your child does have to quarantine from the Department of Health due to COVID-19 concerns, or if your family makes that choice due to other exposures. We will do everything we can to provide your child with makeup work in a timely manner. But please understand that this is something that we will try to do as quickly, but also as safely as possible. So that's why communicating with me is so important during a quarantine, because of a positive case in your house. We'll need to make arrangements to have items picked up safely, so we can balance safety protocols and giving your child makeup assignments as quickly as we can. I also want to add, before I move on, that this is a topic that is currently being discussed by the school board. So that's something that there might be updates coming very soon regarding this. This is a topic that is prevalent right now, and I will keep you updated if there are any changes, additional options for children who do have to remain home due to COVID-19 protocols. So next, I wanted to update your family regarding breakfast, lunch, and snack. As always, breakfast will be free for all students every morning, and we'll have, again this year, a grab-and-go cart in the courtyard with a cold option and a warm option for all students. They will be picking up a breakfast and then going to class, and they will eat breakfast in the classroom. This year, lunch again will also be free for all students. Instead, though, of traditionally your child receiving a 3-digit PIN number and typing it into a keypad, the school district is moving towards having a touchless system. So your child will be given a ID card with a lanyard, and the child's teacher will give the lanyards out every day for lunch. If your child is choosing to have school lunch, when he or she goes through the line to pick out the options, once they get to the cashier, they will simply show their ID card and the cashier will scan it. And that will make our line a lot quicker. It will allow us to keep track of what your child is eating, and that helps with any allergies or medical conditions as well. Now, that same process will be used for breakfast and very soon after school snacks like we had last year. What we're going to be doing with that situation is providing your child with a luggage tag that they'll put on the loop of their backpack. Please keep that on there all year long, and inside that luggage tag will be your child's card. That will be used for breakfast and after school snack so that your child can conveniently keep it in a safe spot instead of having a lanyard that comes back and forth each day and might be lost. So please be on the lookout. Our goal is to start the luggage tag ID cards the second week of school. Okay, now it's time for questions and answers based on questions that were submitted after our last presentation. Question number 1, how do we drop off school supplies? Well, the best time to do that would be tomorrow at Meet the Teacher. but also your child can bring in school supplies any day. If you do have school supplies that are too heavy for your child to carry to class, then remember our kindergarten families can walk their child to class only on the first day of staggered start. And then also you can always just come up to the main office and we'll be happy to take those supplies for you if they are too heavy for your child to carry. We'll ensure that they get to your child's classroom. Will there be after-school clubs and activities? Yes, definitely. We will continue to balance safety and bringing back our activities that, many of them we could not have last year. The sponsors of those activities will be sending out information once we are ready to get started. In the meantime, after-school care, also known as Cub Club, has been starting to have vendors, different companies come on campus to do the traditional programming in the cafeteria to provide those extra enrichment opportunities. We are going to continue our partnership with Lion Country Safari, and they will be returning to campus to do hands-on learning opportunities with our students as well. So those opportunities are back, and the next step will be to get our clubs and activities for students back, and we will work on that as quickly as we can. Will all students be socially distanced in the classroom and in fine arts? Unlike last year where we had 60% of our students on campus, this year we're expected to have 100% of our students, actually more than 100% because our enrollment is growing. We will social distance to the greatest extent possible. But one way that we are going to work on COVID-19 protocols is to have assigned seating in different areas. And so we will have assigned seats in the classrooms, and then we'll also have assigned seating in the cafeteria and then all the fine arts classes as well. This will allow us to conduct contact tracing more accurately, but also it will eliminate the need to possibly send home a whole entire classroom, because if we know who has been within 6 feet of somebody for 15 minutes or more over the course of 2 days, then we don't have to quarantine the entire class, because according to the Department of Health, those would be the criteria for close contacts. So we'll do everything we can to ensure that the close contacts of students who do become positive are notified immediately through the Department of Health, but also minimized due to our procedures here on campus. Will there be temperature checks in class? No. We've never had temperature checks for students. Even last school year, that was not a policy. We only check the temperature of visitors, and as of right now, there's no update to that policy that I'm aware of, just the requirement of face coverings indoors for visitors. But for students, we've never checked their temperatures as part of screening processes. The only time a child would have his or her temperature taken at school would be if they are sent to the nurse because they're exhibiting at least one symptom of COVID-19, and then the nurse would conduct her own screening, and temperature checking would be a part of that. What happens if a student tests positive in the classroom or lunchroom? So I kind of touched on that already, but essentially what happens is if a child tests positive, a letter will be sent home to every student in that classroom or that after school care group. Then I will conduct contact tracing, and that's where those seating charts will really be useful, because again, we will try to minimize the need for there to be mandatory quarantining by the Department of Health based on seating arrangements. If your child is a close contact, they will be notified immediately by the Department of Health once I'm complete with my contact tracing. And then at that point, please follow the Department of Health's guidelines if your child is considered a close contact. Will students use iReady and SuccessMaker at home? Can they bring home their Chromebook? Our goal is that every child will have 45 minutes a week to complete iReady reading, and then 45 minutes a week to complete SuccessMaker. If for some reason a child can't complete 45 minutes a week because they have services that they go to another teacher for during that time, or if they're absent, then the child's teacher will communicate with you, and we may have a makeup opportunity at home, and then at that point your child could bring home his or her Chromebook. Ultimately, Chromebooks are just like textbooks. We try to keep them at school, but if the child's teacher wants to do an additional learning opportunity at home, it will be up to the teachers to determine if Chromebooks will go home, whether it be routinely or for special assignments. So that's it for the questions and answers. I just want to provide some reminders. Tomorrow again is our Meet the Teacher. Here is the schedule. I put a note in here that you are welcome to walk your child to class. This is a great opportunity for school supplies, but also a reminder regarding the new updated procedures for visitors and students regarding face coverings. You'll see the schedule right here on your screen. Please follow this. If, for example, you have both a 5th grader and a 3rd grader, unfortunately, the 3rd grade teachers are not going to be ready and expecting you at 8 o'clock. They will be ready and expecting you at 10 o'clock. So please be sure that you're following that. Teachers are using tomorrow to make last day or lesson planning and getting things ready for the first day of school. Again, they won't be expecting you. So please be sure that you follow this, because it is also going to be important for us to minimize the number of visitors we have on campus. Also, reminders that Tuesday is the first day of school for all students grades 1 through 5, and it's the first day of school for our kindergarten students with the last names A through I. The only families that are going to be allowed to walk their children to class will be those kindergarten families. Grades 1 through 5, I'm sorry, but due to welcoming back all of our students, we do not have the ability to allow, nor is it not safe enough yet to allow for so many visitors at the same time on campus. So that's why we are at this time only allowing the kindergarten families. But again, it will be 1/3 of our kindergarten each day, and so we will be minimizing the number of visitors at a time. On Wednesday the 11th is school again for everybody, except this time it is for our kindergartners with the last names J through R. And then on Thursday, it's kindergarten with the last name S through Z. And then Friday, all kindergartners will be back for their first full day with everybody on campus. And again, that day, though, will be the day that all kindergartners have to follow regular drop-off procedures. Unfortunately, none of our families can walk children to class starting on that day in kindergarten. And the last slide is just to remind you of 2 important links. This first link, it will be hyperlinked in the PDF document that I send out of these slides. This is our guiding document for back to school. This is a live document, so that means it gets updated as policies change, which they have since the first time this was released. So please check back to this link throughout the school year. And then the second link, this is the link to the lunch and meal benefits for free or reduced price lunch. Even though breakfast and lunch are free, as a school, we still encourage every family to apply because we are a Title I school. We have to have at least 70% of our families eligible, not using, but eligible for free reduced price lunch. And that helps to provide us with this year approximately $150,000 in additional funding, that a majority of it goes towards staff on campus to support instruction, but also other items like our programs with Lion Country Safari, additional technology, and other items like that to support instruction on campus. including our family events that we have. So please do that. Even if you're unsure if your family would qualify, it doesn't hurt, and it is a fairly quick process. So please apply so we can also get you any additional support and services that your family might be eligible for. So that is it. Thank you again for your questions. The best way for future questions is to email me or contact the office. As always, but now more than ever, policies, updates change. Superintendent Burke did say that he and his team will be reevaluating our COVID-19 protocols at least every 30 days. So thank you in advance for adhering to the current policies that were just enacted yesterday, and then I will keep you updated, and I know the district will as well, regarding any changes as they continue to work with local health officials and enact policies or amend them. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, and let's have a great first week of school.